Okay, we're back. Once again, we're doing this on Sunday because I had to work yesterday. And this is for the first Impact of the Pop era to air on the new Thursday time slot, for which the viewership actually went up a little bit, surprisingly. Did not expect that, but that was good news. Yeah, let's get right into it because I've got a couple things to do today and I don't really have all the time in the world to be talking about wrestling on YouTube. So I have to go out and do a couple things. Plus, I'd like to see Star Trek Beyond tonight. So let's talk about Impact. Also, we had a bunch of new trailers to come out for Wonder Woman, Justice League. I think there's an Arrow Season 5 trailer around there somewhere. I haven't seen that one yet. But yeah, if you want to ask me about those, feel free. But let's talk about the show first. So, you guys hear me? You can hear me? Okay, cool. Let's do it. Alright, so this week, we begin the Bound for Glory playoffs. They didn't really explain the rules or anything, but apparently it's an 8-man single elimination tournament to crown a new number one contender for the world title who will headline Bound for Glory against the world champion. So I guess it's supposed to be like the Bound for Glory series, except it's shorter and takes a lot less work on the writer's part. And honestly, that might be a good thing. I always thought the Bound for Glory series was a good idea, but they were never able to execute it very well. It always went too long. There were too many people in it, and the rules were confusing and seemed to randomly change to suit the needs of whatever corner the writers had backed themselves into. Maybe they fixed that now. There's less people in it this time. It's only going to go for, I think, 3 weeks, and still accomplish the same goal, so maybe this is for the best. Now, I don't think they presented it very well here, quite the opposite. There were no video packages announcing the start of this tournament, no graphics to explain the rules. It was just, here's the BFG playoffs, fans. Don't know what that is? You'll figure it out. You're welcome! So the presentation just felt pretty half-assed, in my opinion. But I do think the tournament could work as a streamlined version of the BFG series, so we'll see. Unfortunately, I don't think it started out all that great. I hate to say it, but this was reminding me an awful lot of the World Title Series, where the whole thing was just random match after random match after random match with no story or context other than it's a match in the World Title Series. And the whole thing just became incredibly tedious and, frankly, kind of boring. It didn't take much prodding to take me right back to that place. Here we had 4 round 1 matches in this thing, between guys that really had nothing to do with each other, no reason to fight each other, and I just found myself getting impatient with it very quickly. Now, it looks like the matchups will be much less random in the second round, so maybe that won't be a problem in the next show, but for this week it just wasn't grabbing me. And that wasn't the fault of the wrestling, really, but the way this was put together just wasn't that exciting. All the outcomes were very predictable. It pretty much played out exactly like you thought it would, and the way some of the matches were put together, it's almost like they wanted to downplay the excitement. It starts with Jeff Hardy versus Mike Bennett, which you'd think would be a really huge match, but it's not treated that way. There's zero fanfare, plus Jeff's selling an arm injury and Matt's out there fucking with him, and I'm not saying Jeff should have won, but this was essentially a glorified squash, which... why you would want to put the biggest name in your company in that position, I don't know. And the crowd didn't like it either. I mean, yeah, they were not digging this show very much in general this week, but man, they were just not reacting to this Hardy segment at all. Maybe they've gotten fed up with how long it's gone on for, much like I have. Then it was Matt Hardy versus James Storm. Before this match started, I was about to tweet, please don't job out James Storm to Matt Hardy. But then I realized how pointless it was to even hope for that. The show started with another Hardy video of Matt fucking with Jeff on that dirt bike track he has. Then, when Matt comes out, cuts another bizarre-ass promo, and they play the same fucking video again. Just with the last 30 seconds added onto it at the end there. And why does TNA keep wanting Jeff to go back on that dirt bike? Good grief. Why are they tempting fate here? The motherfucker already broke his leg on that damn thing. Do you want something else to happen to him? So I knew what was going to happen here, and it just depressed me. James Storm deserves better than this. And he was working hard here, too. You know, that spot where he jumped over the crowd barrier was really cool. But in the end, Matt goes over, of course. But the upside to it is that Matt gets EC3 next week, where hopefully EC3 will get that decisive victory over Matt and finally give us some closure on that damn rivalry. Later on, we had EC3 versus Eli Drake. Eli Drake. And this segment starts with EC3 teasing his final round match against Drew Galloway before Eli Drake even came out. So, yeah, Eli lost. Again. Which is a damn shame because the dude is getting over. You know, there were dueling chants for him against EC3 during this match. The dummy yeah thing is starting to catch on, and yet the guy loses all the time. Way more than he should. And that's just ridiculous. You know, this is your King of the Mountain champion. If you're not going to make him look legit, why did you give him the belt in the first place? Oh, wait, I forgot, because the King of the Mountain title isn't supposed to be legit. Silly me. It's a pretty good match. It wasn't a squash or anything. It was competitive enough. And yeah, EC3 did need to win. But I'm just sick and tired of seeing Eli Drake lose. This dude is a huge star in the making. Let's get him some fucking wins already. You know? And the fourth round one match was Drew Galloway versus Bram. Another foregone conclusion here. They basically telegraphed that the finals are going to be EC3 versus Galloway unless there's a pretty big swerve, so no one really thought Bram was going to win. We saw him and Rosemary making out backstage beforehand. No real progression with that story this week. I don't think she came out with him. So maybe that's going to be a thing. But we don't have a lot to go on yet. This was the best of the round one matches. Good stuff from Drew and Bram. Just, again, all pretty predictable and telegraphed. Not bad, just nothing that's going to put you on the edge of your seat. The big angle that happened this week was with the Knockouts division. But who are we kidding? It was all really just about Gail Kim. You know, Maria's doing this State of the Knockouts address, but she doesn't really have anything to say. It's just an excuse to get them all in the ring together. Rosemary and Raquel weren't there for some reason. I don't know why. So Maria kind of opens up the floor to questions and stuff, and we do get to see Jade being pissed about how she hasn't gotten her rematch with Sienna yet. So it looks like that is still in the works, thankfully. But then the focus shifts, and I think we all know... Damn it. Sorry. And I think, but then the focus shifts, and I think we all know who it shifts to. And for me, this is where the segment became very frustrating. Maybe this is all in my head. I don't think it is. But just like at Slammiversary, I thought Gail Kim came off incredibly unlikable in this segment. You know, she's bitching about how unfair Maria's injury is because of how it affects her. Not Maria, the one with the broken hand, but how it affects her, Gail Kim. This is so unfair. It's a travesty. I'm never going to get my match with Maria. You know, I get that Gail is agitated, but she keeps acting like Maria is either faking the injury or broke her hand on purpose. Neither of which Maria is actually guilty of. If you want to hate Maria, okay, but hate her for real reasons, not bullshit ones that make you sound like a self-centered asshole who thinks the world revolves around her. Then Gail starts bitching about when she's going to get her title shot. When's my title shot, Maria? I want a title shot. I'll bury every woman in this division to get my title shot. Gail, you had 2 title shots just recently. Hell, you had one last week. And you lost both times. You know what that means? That means you go to the back of the line so someone not named Gail Kim can get a fucking title shot for a change. And something I loved so much about this was that Maria said exactly what I was thinking as Gail was whining about all that stuff. Maria says to her, Gail, it's time for you to give the other knockouts a chance and stop being so selfish. And the really funny thing about this is that Gail didn't deny that. She didn't deny it. Maria accuses her of being selfish, of hogging all the spotlight so none of the other knockouts ever get any real attention, and all Gail has to say for herself is, oh, I respect all the other knockouts. So? That doesn't mean that you haven't hogged the spotlight in the knockout division for years, Gail. It doesn't mean that the other knockouts haven't been constantly shortchanged so you could always be front and center. You didn't disprove what Maria said there, Gail. Actually, you kind of confirmed it. So when Maria hit her with that, Gail doesn't deny it for a second. She couldn't. You know why? Because it's the fucking truth. 100% the truth. Unfortunately, I don't think we were meant to perceive that as a bad thing. It plays like Maria is being the evil heel authority figure and just trying to get under Gail's skin, but the booking of Gail has been so fucked up for years now that a line meant to put heel heat on Maria instead comes off like a giant truth bomb, and Gail's the one who ends up looking like the villain because of it. You know, we're not supposed to be agreeing with the heels, but that's what's happened. And now Maria is giving Gail a chance to earn another title shot. Because that's what this fucking division needs, right? Even though Gail just had 2 title shots and lost, even though she's already had several lengthy title reigns and wouldn't do anything new with the belt at this point, Maria gives her a chance to earn another shot. But she's got to go through all the other knockouts to get it. I really, really want to believe that this angle is not going to be Gail breaking out her trusty shovel and systematically burying the entire knockout roster one by one on her road to yet another championship reign that she doesn't need. I want to believe that. But let's not kid ourselves. Does anyone really think that's not exactly what they might do? If history is any indication, they're going to have her defy all the odds in true Jane Cena fashion. She's going to crush every woman in the fucking locker room, shovel dirt all over them, and then she'll do the same damn thing to Sienna, and she'll win the title back again. And in the very unlikely event that she doesn't win the title from Sienna, they'll go out of their way to show that Gail is still the uncrowned champion and doesn't have the belt only because of some bullshit technicality or interference or something, and then they'll try to fool themselves into thinking that this is Gail putting someone over. And they'll have sacrificed their entire knockout roster to make Gail Kim look like fucking Wonder Woman again. Nothing personal. But if that's what's in store for the knockout fans from now until Bound for Glory, you know what? Count me out. Count me out. She's already going into the Hall of Fame. Isn't that enough? Does she really need this too? Fucking Kurt Angle went into the Hall of Fame and didn't get this kind of attention. Oh, man. So then we come to our main event. We got Lashley versus Eddie Edwards, title versus title. The rematch in the 6 Sides of Steel. The phone's ringing. I hope it's not for me. They actually got an overrun for this, surprisingly. Maybe the final deletion ratings gave Pop enough confidence in the show to think it deserved one. If that's the case, if they could get an overrun on a regular basis, that would be very helpful. Could finally get those timing issues fixed. A really damn good match here. You know, again, we saw Lashley doing a lot more to accommodate the high flyer than you think he would. I couldn't believe they did that Huracan Rana spot off the top of the cage. Jesus Christ. And kudos to Lashley. Such a huge guy taking a bump like that. My God. And then they went and did it again with the suplex spot off the top of the cage. Wow. And for the second week in a row, I was pleasantly surprised at how much they gave Eddie Edwards here. Was it one-sided? Of course. But that's the point of an underdog story. He's got to climb that mountain, and there's no point in getting behind him if the mountain isn't really big. But yeah, great match. But there had to be a winner this time. So Lashley wins, and he's got both titles. So Lashley is now the X Division champion. I see what they're going for. They want to make this guy look like he's completely unstoppable. They did the same thing with Kurt Angle once. Unfortunately, the X division is so marginalized in general that this really feels like the X guys had their title co-opted again. And it's the second time that happened just recently. So on top of getting very little TV time, now they've got another non-X division guy, one that none of them have a great shot at beating, holding their championship. And that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks for the X division. And then there's this big brawl in the cage to close the show. Again, they tease EC3 versus Lashley. He's the first one out there to stop him from fucking up Eddie after the match. So that's how they end things. I have to say, I was really surprised at how little Moose did here. You know, he makes this huge impression last week, flooring the world champion. Lashley calls him out at the start of the show this week, and then Moose doesn't really do that much. You know, he's fired up backstage, he wants a piece of Lashley, but then he's just one man in a big brawl at the end. You know, after the way he debuted, I thought he'd have a bigger role than that. So that's about it. A kick-ass main event. The overrun definitely helped with that. Then there was the Bound for Glory playoffs, which weren't bad or anything. They just weren't terribly exciting because you kind of knew the story before it started. And then the knockout segment just makes everything all about Gail again, and I'm just so tired of that. So overall, this was kind of a thumbs-in-the-middle show for me. And let's get to your questions and comments and wrap this up because I kind of have to get going. I got some stuff to do. Let's see. What are your thoughts on that fucking WWE Draft? Well, I didn't actually watch it. I read the show reports, and I think SmackDown kind of got the short end of the stick. And is anyone really surprised? I'm not. I think we all knew SmackDown was going to get shortchanged, and Raw was going to get the best talent. Because no matter what they say, no matter what this new era is supposed to be, the story is basically the same. You know, SmackDown is always going to be the redheaded stepchild, and Raw is always going to be the favorite son. Now, I understand SmackDown actually did higher viewership than Raw for this show, but let's see if they can keep that up beyond, beyond week one. You know, but yeah, Raw's always going to be the flagship. I think it was Stephanie that said that on Raw. So it's like, don't you want people to watch SmackDown? Okay, you just said that SmackDown is like the secondary show compared to Raw because Stephanie always has to emasculate everyone. And are you supposed to be talking SmackDown up? Shouldn't Stephanie be like scared that SmackDown's going to overtake her? Wouldn't that make people more inclined to watch SmackDown than this? I think it's stupid. I wasn't optimistic about the draft, and my concerns were more or less validated here. Oh, and they got Cena and Orton on the same fucking show. What is the point of that? Please tell me they're not going to fucking feud again. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not watching SmackDown anyway. Your thoughts on the awful new Raw and SmackDown logos, especially SmackDown that is kind of identical to Impact Wrestling. Oh yeah, I noticed that too. The new Raw logo looks like shit. Like an amateur graphic designer could have put that together over his lunch break. It looks so lame. It's like they didn't put any effort into it whatsoever. In SmackDown, yeah, you said it. It looks like the Impact logo. I think it's the same color scheme and everything. It's like, well, the show's not airing against Impact anymore, but they still gotta stick that knife in a little bit. So yeah, that if you think that wasn't on purpose, think a little harder. Is Madison feuding with Gail just something to hold Gail versus Sienna again until Bound for Glory? I don't think so. I think that's just something they did so they'd have the entire knockout division against Gail. So it'll be that much more impressive when she defies all the odds. Because there was no other reason to do it. There's already a disproportionate ratio of heels to faces. They got way more heels than they do faces. They needed more faces, and then they just turned one of them heel? Just like that? No, it was just so Gail would have one more roadblock in front of her. And that'll probably last, like, all of a week. Because I think they've got Gail versus Madison scheduled for this Thursday. Does anyone really think Madison's going to win that match? I don't. So yeah, it's stupid. Let's see. I know there are no other tag teams in the division, but the Decay are becoming irrelevant. I wouldn't say that. I mean, they've got this storyline with Bram. Now, I would agree that they have kind of lost steam due to the fact that they're not on TV consistently, like every week, due to the fact that the tag team division is so thin right now. Because they're really the only team that means anything. And the only people they have to feud with right now are the fucking bromance. So, it stands to reason that their tag title run is not incredibly hot right now, and it's not their fault. They were put in this position. I do think the thing with Bram is interesting, though. I don't want it to lead to the Decay breaking up, because all three of them, they're fucking gold together. They need to stay together. But that's what they're doing right now. And like I said, there wasn't really any progression with it this week. Let's see. I'm so scared for the X Division now. Why? Every bad thing that could happen to the X Division already happened. You know, Lashley will be the X Division champion probably until Around Bound for Glory. They might win it. One of them might win it back before then, but it's not like the X Division could be all that much worse off, really. What do you think of Holly Holm losing to Valentina I can't pronounce her name. Shevchenko at UFC Fight Night on Fox last night. What could be next for her since she lost a chance for a future title fight? Well, I actually hadn't heard about that. I was working last night and didn't get home until I was working all day yesterday. Didn't get home until late, so I didn't see the show. Damn, that's disappointing that Holly lost. Oh well. Yeah, I'm not sure where she goes from here. Maybe a rematch with Misha. I'm not totally familiar with the talent in that division right now. And they can't really count on Ronda returning anytime soon, apparently. I'm not sure where they go from here. Let's see. I saw people saying that the Raw logo looks cool because it's got an old school feel. A logo that fits the WWE so much, doesn't it? Both logos are cheap and unoriginal as fuck, in my opinion. Yeah, totally agree. The Raw logo looks like shit. Because why would they want a logo that has an old school feel to it if this is supposed to be the new era? Wouldn't you want a new era type of logo? There's one more reason why the new era is bullshit. Let's see. There's a huge echo. Shit. It seems like everyone else can hear me okay. Alright. Not much I can do about that right now. Sorry. I'll try to work on it. Hang on. See, I fixed the audio originally by plugging my earbuds into the computer to take away the distortion. Oh! Fuck. Is there an echo for anybody else? Damn. Can you guys hear is anybody else getting a big echo? You don't. Variety vendor doesn't hear an echo. All right, maybe it's your computer, dude. Whatever. Yeah. Any case, I can't really hear it right now. Don't have time to futz with it. Got other stuff to do. Maria is clearly the face and Gail is the heel, no doubt. Even on TNA videos, fans in the comments are noticing that Gail is always the focus and they're sick of it. Yep. I think that's been in the works for quite a while now. It seems like people are kind of turning against Gail, and they're tired of seeing the whole division being focused on her. And TNA doesn't seem to be getting wise to that. They think people love Gail as much as ever, and they're just going to ride that horse until the legs break off, and they'll keep riding it. It's dumb. Gail should not, God bless her, but Gail should not be the entire focus of the Knockout division anymore. It's not 2008 anymore. It's 2016, and you got to move on. You got to build up new people, but people don't get built up when all the focus is still on Gail. Oh, that's why there was an echo there. Okay. Who do you think will win the triple threat title match at Battle Turd pay-per-view tonight? That's tonight, isn't it? Wow. Ideally, I'd like Ambrose to win it because SmackDown needs the boost. They've already got the inferior roster, so it would be nice if if they had the WWE title on their show and a champion that looks strong for beating Rollins and Reigns. So I'd like Ambrose to win it. Will that happen? I'm not maybe. I'm not incredibly optimistic about it. Thoughts on the Wonder Woman and Justice League trailers? Okay. Really liked the Wonder Woman trailer. Really liked it. It looked, it had a sense of fun about itself. There were some jokes in there. I think it's really important. Maybe Warner Brothers finally started listening to the fans who were not so happy about the dark, bleak tone of Batman v Superman, and I guess to a lesser extent Man of Steel. But yeah, it had a sense of fun. It had some jokes. The action looks tight, and I think Gal Gadot looks like Wonder Woman, and I'm definitely optimistic about that movie. Justice League. It wasn't really a trailer because I don't think they've actually been shooting for very long. That was really just something to give the fans at Comic-Con get a rise out of those people based on what they've filmed so far. So it wasn't really a trailer in the traditional sense. But again, definitely a lighter tone. They had some jokes. Thought Flash was kind of funny. Not really a lot of focus on Cyborg yet. Maybe they haven't filmed a lot of his scenes yet. But I thought Jason Momoa looked cool. It didn't really have a lot to go on yet, but didn't look bad. I'm going to wait until we have like a real trailer to judge, but looked okay. They are going to feed the whole Knockout division to Gail. At least it seems like Jade and Rosemary will be safe. Yeah, hopefully. Rosemary wasn't involved in this. First, I was annoyed about that, and now I'm glad because she'll be avoiding Gail's shovel, hopefully. And we don't know if Jade will too. Jade, she said she wasn't going to be a part of the hit that Maria put out on Gail, because anyone who takes her out will be rewarded, but she might still have to face Gail on Gail's road to yet another title reign. So we don't know about that. It did look like there was an effort to at least protect Jade somewhat from all that stuff, so that's good. And again, Rosemary looks to be not involved in that, which is also a very good thing. So at least there's a silver lining there. Why the fuck they drafted Eva Marie, the worst female wrestler in WWE, instead of Bayley, the most talented female wrestler in NXT? I don't get it either. I've heard the excuse that they don't have anyone to really take Bayley's place, and that's why Bayley is still stuck in NXT. But isn't Asuka the champion now? I admit I don't watch NXT much at all, but from what little I have seen of it, it seems like Asuka is really over. People like her a lot. They're behind her. So why exactly do they need Bayley down there? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. I think she's been down there entirely, way longer than she needs to be. It seems like WWE like her a lot, so what's the holdup? Doesn't make any sense. Did you hear about Jeff Hardy's match on the Indies recently? Apparently he's in horrible shape and can barely walk. It seemed like he was in perfectly fine shape on Impact recently. But if he's in rough shape, I'm not surprised, because the dude has been killing himself. He's gone from taking an insane bump in the matches with Mac to an insane bump in the final deletion. I mean, I think he had like a huge bump off a cage match or something, and the guy has been just destroying his body, doing a huge, ridiculous, death-defying bumps almost every week, like on a regular basis for a while now. If he's in bad shape, I'm not surprised, because the dude is going to kill himself in the ring. Matt Hardy's got insanely over with the IWC. Don't expect him to lose many matches. The only thing we can hope for is that he's not going to win the whole thing. Yeah, I don't expect him to win the Bound for Glory playoffs. I expect the storyline with Jeff will take precedence, and this leading to another match with Jeff at Bound for Glory. Ugh. Funny how when Maria called Gail out for being selfish, fans in the actual crowd cheered Maria for saying it. Yeah, and once again, Gail has no response. Oh, I respect all the other knockouts. Yeah, that doesn't mean that what Maria said wasn't true, Gail. Do you want to try to refute that statement? No? Not going to bother? Okay. This week had the second highest viewership behind the final deletion. Not bad for a new night. Yeah, I did not expect that. They weren't even promoting the move to Thursday that much. They put like a graphic on the YouTube videos or something. That's basically it. So apparently they got the word out somehow. So good for them. That'll be helpful. Does WWE even have the talent to have two women's divisions? Why not have the girls on SmackDown and the cruiserweights on Raw? That's what I would have done. Something to that effect. They don't have a deep enough women's roster to have two separate divisions. I suspect they're going to have the title on on Raw, I guess. Yeah, because Raw got Charlotte. Okay. So I guess the championship will be on Raw. So they'll fight for the title on Raw, and then they'll have like non-title feuds on SmackDown or something. Which I think is dumb. The silver lining is that Becky Lynch will almost certainly be the top girl on SmackDown now. But I think it's dumb to split up your rosters like that. The tag team division is going to have a similar problem. I think what they should have done was to further differentiate the two brands, have divisions be exclusive to one show or another. Like, say for example, have the entire Diva division on Raw, and then as a trade-off, maybe SmackDown gets the entire tag team division. So, Raw is the only place where you can see the divas, well, they're not divas anymore, but the women, and then SmackDown is the only place where you can see tag team wrestling. So if you're a fan of one thing, you gotta go to this show. If you're a fan of, this other thing, you gotta watch that show. It would actually be kind of an incentive to watch, one show or another. And I think splitting them up across two shows doesn't really benefit anybody. And it kind of plays into what Shane was talking about, how wanting to make SmackDown different and be about the wrestling and stuff, and it just further illustrates that they didn't really think this brand split out before they did it. Stephanie said Vince had been planning this for a while. Yeah, my ass he had. My ass he was. Eli Drake booked pretty strongly against EC3. He didn't win, but he had enough offense. Plus, EC3 didn't beat him with his actual finisher, but instead went with a surprise pin. Yeah, it was competitive enough. I just don't like seeing Eli Drake lose. I think it's time for that guy to get some fucking wins already. The crowd was pretty dead during the show. It hurt Drew versus Bram a lot. Yeah, the crowd sucked this week. Or this is last week now. That's disappointing. The Impact Zone crowd has been a lot better recently, but this week they were just not into that show. I actually like how they're using Moose, but Bennett being afraid of being fired when he wants to be the one that burns TNA down makes sense to me. Well, if he's not in the company anymore, then he can't burn it down. He has to be employed by it in order to have access to things and stuff. I got it. I got what they were going for. Can we move on a little with the Bram Rosemary thing? It's been going on for a month and we still don't know what Rosemary is trying to accomplish here. Yeah, I agree. They need to pick up the pace with that. Okay, they did the reveal with Bram, and then this week they didn't really progress it at all. I think we need to have steady progression in it to hold people's interest. I think that's important because it's the only thing that the Decay are really doing right now. So let's give them some attention, story-wise. So according to TNA, the Knockout division is 5 people. No, there's more than 5 in there. Gail, Jade, Madison, Sienna, I guess Marty also, and I guess Allie. I guess we're counting Allie too. Again, I don't know why Rosemary and Raquel weren't in there. Didn't understand that. And also there's Chelsea Green, who's going to show up at some point. So there's more than 5. No one in the crowd gives a fuck about Gail anymore. I even heard some boos. And this woman is going into the Hall of Fame this year. TNA just needs to stop booking her this strong. Totally agreed. I've said it before, but I think the best thing Gail could possibly do is just go away for a while. Like, take a vacation for a few months. Or ideally more than a few months. And then come back when people are actually missing her. Because right now, they're just sick of her. I think people want her to go away. And her continuing to stick around and continuing to be the focus of everything is just contributing to this. Just continuing to turn the people against her. And it's stupid. My apologies about doubting you on the brand split. It's alright, dude. Don't worry about it. Because I'm pissed off that they drafted not only 2 or 3 people, Miz, Maurice, and Eva Marie, and Kane to SmackDown. Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that would be upsetting. Would heel Gail Kim be better because her hogging the spotlight would make sense for a bad guy? It would be better in that they would at least be encouraging heel heat instead of trying to fight it off. But it would still have the same problem. This goes to show that Vince McMahon didn't care about SmackDown, only Raw. Mm-hmm. I'm glad Jaden Mortys' feud is still going on. Like I said before, they got a program worth 5 months at least. That was strange to me, because after their second match, I think it was the street fight, Josh said that that was the end of the feud right there. And now apparently it's still going on? Well, which one is it? And they can't seem to make up their minds. What do you think of the Daredevil Season 3 announcement? Oh, I'm very excited about Daredevil Season 3. Daredevil's awesome. And the Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Defenders teaser trailers, plus Ghost Rider is coming to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, I like the Iron Fist trailer. They got that out fast. They really sat on their hands for a long time before debuting the Luke Cage trailer, but Iron Fist, I'm pretty sure they're still filming Iron Fist. But no, he got a trailer out very quickly. So that's strange. Iron Fist was cool. I think they gave you a little hint of the story. Apparently Danny's going to be institutionalized, which is interesting. I really hope they give him the glowy hands, because they saw in the trailer him like punching his way out through the wall. So he'll be using the Iron Fist there. I really hope they have the glowy hands, because the Netflix shows are very, I guess they're supposed to be rooted in reality, and they don't do a lot of CG or special effects or stuff, but I want him to at least have the glowy hands. Because if it's just his hand turns like really hard or something, then it makes him less unique, because that's like Luke Cage, you know? You at least have like there be like an energy effect with the Iron Fist. I want to see that. But I liked it. I like that. Luke Cage, the Luke Cage trailer didn't really do it for me. It didn't really give you like a sense of the story. Maybe it's because we already met Luke and Jessica Jones. But the trailer is just him. Basically, it's a big fight scene of him beating up guys in a hallway, and again with the inconsistent powers, because Jessica Jones, a shotgun blast almost killed him, but now he's getting shot full of bullets and he doesn't even feel them. So that was a problem I had with Jessica Jones. I guess it's carrying over here. My problem with the Luke Cage thing is that there's no sense of dread. Because with Daredevil, if you punch him, he gets hurt. You try to stab him, he bleeds. If you shoot him, he dies. With Luke Cage, you punch the guy, you break your fist. If you stab him, the knife breaks off. If you try to shoot him, the bullets bounce off. So how do you hurt this guy? How do you make the audience afraid that something bad will happen to him? How do you challenge him? If he can just plow through bad guys like a fucking steamroller, why should you be afraid for him? You know? I hope they address that in the show, because they gotta find some way to be able to hurt this guy. Otherwise, if he can't get hurt, then there's no tension. So we'll see. I did really like the social commentary in it, though. A bulletproof black dude just mowing down bad guys is kind of socially relevant right now. I'm surprised they didn't. They could have had him beating the shit out of some dirty cops too. That would have been. They really wanted to Well, you know. But yeah, also we got the Defenders. It was cool. There was no footage there because they haven't shot it yet, but it was just like a teaser to show that the Defenders are coming. It was really cool. I liked it. Ghost Rider coming to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I guess this is going to be the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. Really surprising. You know, they had the graphic with the flaming chain across the logo that's been out for weeks. I thought that was going to be Hellfire, and they're just hinting that Hellfire was going to play some big role. But no, apparently it's Ghost Rider. I have no idea how they're going to do that on a TV budget. But it's cool. Ghost Rider was trending when that announcement was made. So that's good. That's the kind of stuff they ought to be doing, and hopefully it'll bring some interest to the show. And I've heard some people bitching and complaining about how Ghost Rider should be on Netflix. Okay, well, you know what? If you want that to happen, tune into S.H.I.E.L.D. and watch the fucking show. Watch for the debut of Ghost Rider, and then let Marvel and Netflix and ABC and everybody and Disney and all those people, let them all know that you want to see more of Ghost Rider. Watch S.H.I.E.L.D. to see Ghost Rider, and then tell everyone that you like the character and want him to get his own spin-off. And then maybe they'll do one on Netflix. Who knows? It worked for Punisher. He was already on Netflix, but it's the same thing. Watch the show to support Ghost Rider. And then maybe he will get a spin-off. Let's see. The main event was awesome, but did TNA turn the lights off or something? The arena seemed darker than usual during that match. I didn't notice that, actually. I don't know. Maybe that was the end of the night for the TV taping and people were leaving or something. Not sure. No, I didn't notice that. Let's see. Think EC3 versus Lashley should be the main event of BFG. Yeah, I suspect it will be. I think they've been teasing that for a while. That's the BFG main event that I've been predicting. So yeah, I think they're going in that direction. And things could still change, but that's where I think they're going. Okay. According to spoilers, Lashley challenges James. Okay, wait. You know what? Some people don't like being spoiled, so you got some spoilers in here. So I'm not gonna address that one. Sorry. Allie's voice was funny as hell. Even got the shut her up chance, which Madison never even got with her annoying voice. Yeah, it seems like Allie has found a way to use the shrill, annoying voice in a way that didn't work for when Madison was doing it. Because when Madison did it back, a couple of years back, all she did was kill the crowd. The way Allie is doing it in such a way that it gets her heat. So she's figured out how to use that gimmick in the way that Madison couldn't figure out. So that's good. And plus, Allie is really funny and entertaining too. So yeah, she's really nailing that character right now. I think people appreciate that. Let's see. I don't think SmackDown got screwed. They got the WWE Champion. Well, we don't know if he's going to be the champion after tonight. Randy Orton, John Cena, and AJ Styles. That's a thumbs up for me. Well, I don't think there's any reason for Orton and Cena to be on the same show. I think that those two should have split up. Because I don't want to tempt them into doing another Orton Cena feud. I really don't. But yeah, they did get some stars, but let's face it, Cena and Orton aren't exactly the main focus lately. They haven't been. Of course, Orton's been injured, but Cena has kind of been downgraded. That's not the right word, but he's kind of been supplanted at the top spot, at least for the time being. It's like people are more interested in AJ now. So getting AJ was good. Yeah, he's really hot right now. But overall, Raw did get the hotter talent. Let's see. Broken Matt Hardy is my favorite character in pro wrestling because he makes me laugh. I still think it's way overdone. I do like that he still has Vanguard 1. I like the idea of Vanguard 1 being Matt's personal, like, R2-D2. And they're still using the hologram thing with it. So I like that. I still want him to cut backstage promos through Vanguard 1. Like, he'll just stay locked in his dressing room and have JB talking to the fucking drone, holding the mic up to the drone. I really want to see that. But yeah, that part's funny. The Addiction and the Motor City Machine Guns are killing it in their ROH feud. How would you have booked this feud in TNA? I would have had more promos. Again, I'm not really following ROH right now. I see a little bit. From what I have seen, it seems like the Addiction and the Motor City Machine Guns have kind of had their personalities sucked out. Just from what I've seen. And again, I have not seen very much. I saw one promo from the Machine Guns. They were talking. I'm like, where did their personalities go? Where was all the humor? You know, where they used to be so witty and funny and now they're just very very straight. Now they're both playing it straight. It's all just deadpan staring into the camera with no. It just felt kind of lifeless. And is that what ROH does? Did ROH just suck the personality out of these guys? So yeah, I would have highlighted their personalities more. I would have had them cut more promos, in-ring promo segments, because these guys can all talk. They're entertaining. So use that. We know the matches would kick ass, but they bring so much more to the table than that. So I would let them talk more, certainly. I hope Orton and Cena become a tag team and elevate that title. It's been a while since the championship meant anything above shit. Well, the SmackDown tag team division certainly could use a boost after the draft. Because man, their tag division really got raped. Gail just comes off as phony character-wise. Clearly, she only cares about one thing. Gail. Yeah. No comment necessary. You hit it right on the head there. As a babyface, she just comes off incredibly. She doesn't feel authentic. You know, when she says she respects everyone and she has the best interest of the knockout division at heart, it doesn't sound real. You know, I don't feel like she believes it. It just feels like a smokescreen, and she's really just out for herself because that's the way it comes off to me. Let's see. Can you do a live stream on both the Suicide Squad and Impact on the first week of August? And do you know that the Suicide Squad is coming out August 5th? Sorry, spoilers. Did you know that? Yeah. We could talk about Suicide Squad, certainly. You know, I often have to work on the weekends, so I don't know if I'll be able to see it opening week, but we could talk about it when it comes out, yeah. Now, what'll happen when Davey returns? I imagine they'll get the Wolves back together as soon as he returns, and that's desperate. That's very badly needed right now. How will the Helms Dynasty be involved in tag teams? Well, they'll make Lee and Everett a tag team and have them go after the titles, I guess. I mean, I guess they're not really needed as heels in the X division right now, as long as Lashley has the title, so that could work. Could supplement the tag team division right now. I mean, Helms did say that he was going to be getting back in the ring soon, too. That didn't happen. But yeah, use Lee and Everett as a tag team right now. Why not? Shevchenko. Okay, that's how it's pronounced, all right. Can't wait when... Oh, lost it. Holy shit. I think the new era applies to SmackDown. Raw is going to always run the same formula. No, I think it'll be the same formula across both shows. I really do. They could always surprise me, but I highly doubt it. Let's see. Do you like Pope as a color commentator? I think he's doing great. He's definitely much better than Taz. Probably the best color commentator since Don West, in my opinion. Yeah, I like Pope as. Yeah, I think Pope's doing a good job. I generally don't have a problem with the commentary right now. Um, I guess I'm in the minority of people that don't mind Josh Matthews. I agree he's not the best announcer ever, but compared to Mike Tenay, who for the last several years of his run was just sleepwalking through the entire show, I think it's a big improvement. At least Josh acts interested in what he's seeing. I think him and Pope make a good team, so I like them together. They needed more heels specifically to show how great Gail is by going through all of them. Way to make a new star look good. Yeah. Yeah, it's not enough that they only had really 3 baby faces in the knockout division as compared to a lot more heels. Yeah. Yeah. They already had more heels and faces, and now they're turning another babyface heel just so Gail can beat her. Stupid. But it's not like they're going to hurt Madison because she hadn't been doing anything for a long time anyway. Wonder Woman feels like a Marvel movie from 10 years ago. Has the quirkiness of Iron Man, story like Captain America, badassness of the Hulk, and the presence of Thor. Yeah, well, we knew they were already copying the Marvel formula. Well, no, that's not right. They were trying to catch up to Marvel, rather. So they wanted the Avengers level payoff without taking the steps to get there. But they were kind of copying the Avengers in what Marvel did with the Avengers without really knowing how. So if they're copying some of the Marvel formula that's made their standalone movie success stories, that's not surprising. Maybe they realized that they kind of fucked up with Batman v Superman. So let's you know what? So they figure, you know what? Let's take another page from Marvel's book. Allie could turn face. Yeah, possibly. We did see that Maria is starting to get annoyed with Allie here at times, so maybe that's in the works. I wouldn't want them to lose the character because I think she's doing great with the character, but if they could get Allie in the ring as a little bit more of a serious competitor to let her really deliver in the ring the way we know she can, that would be a good thing. Any idea when Jimmy Havoc is healed? No idea. I think he had the same type of injury that Chris Sabin did, so he could be out for the better part of a year. That would be my guess. The obsolete mule turned into Willow. I don't think so. The Matt apparently owns him now. Thoughts on the new Ghost Rider on AOS? I'm excited for it. I'm not familiar with the Robbie Reyes version, but I think it's a really cool thing. It's a big character to put on the TV show, and hopefully it'll drum up some interest. Like I said, if you want Ghost Rider to get his own Netflix show, you gotta watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to see Ghost Rider and then make a lot of noise about how great the character is and how you want him to get his own show. That's how it works. Okay? Because just bitching about why he's not on Netflix isn't gonna do shit. If you want the character on his own show, watch S.H.I.E.L.D. to support him. That's how it starts. How do you think Cody Rhodes will do in ROH? He debuts at Final Battle in December. I think he'll do fine. He can wrestle well enough for ROH. I think he'll do just fine. I think Thursday night is Impact's sweet spot. They shouldn't ever move from that slot. Yeah. Signs are promising that they'll do well on Thursdays. Raven Effect has been worried that they'll have to air against football, though, so that could be a problem. SmackDown's women's division is just ridiculous. Yeah. I feel bad for Becky Lynch. Because she can't go for the title now. But like I said, she will almost certainly be the top girl on SmackDown. So that's something good for her. And maybe at the next draft, maybe she'll get, shipped back to Raw. But yeah, aside from Becky, there's not a lot of interesting stuff going on in the SmackDown Women's division. Eli Drake should win more, but the issue is who should he go over? EC3, Lashley, Mike Bennett, Jeff Hardy. There are no other mid-carders there besides Bram. Well, Braxton Sutter really ought to be in the mid-card instead of the X division, because he's not an X division guy. A guy like Jesse Goddard could go for the King of the Mountain title, except he's languishing in a tag team with Robbie E, which is doing him no favors. They've got people that could go after the King of the Mountain title. I mean, they don't have to have play Eli Drake against guys that are going to beat him. They can have the women's champion be a traveling champion. Let her appearances mean more. I don't know why they don't just have all the champions traverse both shows. Like, have the rosters stay separate, but if you're a champion, then you can go to Raw and SmackDown. Because that might help with creating feuds and stuff. And that's just how I would do it. Let's see. What? WWE Draft. What they should have done is make the champions freelance, meaning they can go to either brand, and whoever wins that title, that person becomes freelance. Yeah, exactly. And the loser must take the new champ's spot on Raw and SmackDown. Yeah. Who is a worse actress, Gal Gadot or Gail Kim? Oh, Gail Kim, certainly. I don't think Gal Gadot's bad. She's done well in everything I've seen her in. Wonder Woman went from battling Doomsday to now battling Nazis. Gee, I wonder if she wins. Yeah, that's gonna be that'll be a problem they have to deal with, because we saw her, doing really well against Doomsday. She even cut her Doomsday's arm off in that fight, and now she's got to fight normal humans. I hope there's a twist on that. I hope they have some kind of villain that can give her trouble, because otherwise, it's going to be a pretty one-sided fight. Luke Cage's weakness is under the jugular and the eyes. He got shot under the jaw. That's how he got knocked out. Okay. They didn't specify in the show. All right. I think it's way too soon to start the Defenders. Well, they haven't started it yet. There's a teaser. That's it. They haven't actually shot anything yet. I'm pretty sure they're still filming Iron Fist. Defenders doesn't start until Iron Fist wraps. Defenders. I'm almost positive that Luke Cage doesn't even drop until September, so we won't see Defenders this year. That'll be next year, certainly. So it's not coming out soon. That's still a ways off. Let's see. Are they going to connect S.H.I.E.L.D. with Doctor Strange through Ghost Rider? Anything's possible. Because this is the first time they're going to have to deal with anything supernatural, which is kind of Doctor Strange's wheelhouse. I am really interested to see how that happens, though, because until now, all their villains have been kind of science-based. And there was nothing that they couldn't explain away through science, but now they've got, magic and supernatural and shit. I'm really looking forward to how Fitzsimmons react to Ghost Rider, and they're gonna be trying to try to find some kind of scientific explanation, but his powers are magical. They're, it'll be really fun to watch them have them completely lose their shit about this. Them trying to find some way to explain magic and they just can't do it. Simmons' reaction especially should be really fun. I think Fitz seems to be a little more open-minded about different things these days, but Simmons, she's going to have very little patience for this. I think it's going to be pretty entertaining. The Legion trailer looks cool. It's different from every comic-based TV show. There's a Legion trailer out? I haven't seen that yet. What are your thoughts on Superman, the second season of Supergirl? Well, I'm not watching Supergirl, so whatever. It makes sense. I saw some people bitching about Superman making an appearance. It's like, oh, yeah, why would those people who are moving to a smaller network and probably going to have to deal with decreased viewership want to put the most recognizable superhero in the world on their show? Those bastards! It's anyone complaining about that is a fucking idiot. But yeah, I think it's fine. It didn't make sense to me that Superman never showed up in the first season. It's like Supergirl's doing all this stuff, and Superman, who is almost as fast as a Flash, it doesn't make sense that he never showed up. He has Jimmy Olsen deliver the cape to Kara, I think in the pilot, instead of just dropping it off himself. Made no sense. Of course, if Superman exists in this world, of course he's going to show up. So you want to do Superman? Okay, fine. Yeah, whatever. Thoughts on Arrow and the Flash trailers from Comic-Con this year? I haven't actually seen them yet. I'm going to watch them as soon as I'm done here, but I don't really have the time to get into that right now. Like I said, I was working all day yesterday, so I missed it when all the trailers came out. So I've seen a couple of them, haven't seen Arrow and Flash yet. Madison never gets a reaction as a heel or a face, but people are tired of Gail. I think she may get some cheers if she defeats Gail. If. Yeah, but don't hold your breath, buddy. Damn it. Where am I? Who do you think will be Sasha Banks' partner at the pay-per-view? Well, I think this is still a joint pay-per-view, so I guess it could be Becky Lynch. A lot of people are hoping that it's Bayley, which would be cool. But I don't know. Maybe it might be something more underwhelming. I think Nia Jax got drafted to Raw. It would be funny if people are cheering or chanting for Bayley and then Nia Jax comes out. Yeah, I don't know. I think they got a couple of NXT girls. So maybe it'd be like Carmella or something. I don't know. With the tag division lacking, the Tribunal should get a little push. Let them finally squash Grado and Shera, beat the Bromance some, and entertain the Decay for a while. Well, I don't like saying this any more than you like hearing it, but you can't really squash any tag team in the division right now because you've only got 4 to work with. So, like it or not, all 4 of those teams kind of have to mean something. Just out of a matter of necessity. And believe me, I don't like that anymore. I don't like that at all. I hate that. But, that's the way it is right now. And plus, we don't really know how good the Tribunal are. They haven't really gotten they haven't been terribly impressive so far. They haven't really had the platform to be impressive. So we don't know how good these guys are yet. Motor City Machine Guns have no personalities in ROH. They're boring as hell. Oh, man, I hate to hear this. Because they were super entertaining at TNA. They were funny and witty and charismatic, and this is what ROH does. It takes entertaining people and just sucks the life out of them. I mean, look at Mike Bennett in ROH, and look at Mike Bennett in TNA. In like the 7 months he's been in TNA, he's eclipsed anything he did in ROH. As I understand it, ROH didn't really let him do that much. And then he comes to TNA and he starts showing star quality instantly. Like the Motor City Machine Guns had star quality in TNA, and now they're in ROH, and now you got people, Lazy Silver 21 describing their personalities as boring. Their personalities were never boring. But this is what ROH does. It sucks the personality out of people. Oh, man, that is disappointing to hear. I think wrestling is at a very low point, nothing to look forward to. I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's not a boom period right now. There could be another one at some point, but right now I think Billy Corgan really hit it on the head in an interview he did a little while ago where he said that nobody really knows what works in 2016. And to a large extent, that's true. It's like people have seen everything, and you got to find new ways of presenting stuff. And I think that's kind of why the Final Deletion was a big success, because it felt new and different, and completely divorced from practically anything that people have seen before. Excuse me. And I think in order to generate real interest again, you got to find new ways of doing it and new ways of presenting the show. And it just doesn't seem like a lot of people are trying to be different. That's unfortunate. Is the new era going to be them just copying other promotions? Well, that is what Vince McMahon likes to do. What did you think of the Doctor Strange trailer? I liked it. Still not a whole lot to go on. We haven't really seen Dormammu yet. I think the actor was in there, Mads Mikkelsen. But we haven't really seen the Dormammu, the big flaming dude, yet. So I'm waiting for that. I liked it. I think he looks good as Doctor Strange. He looks just like the comic. He looks just like the character in the comic, so that's good. So I'm optimistic about Doctor Strange. Brie Larson cast as Captain Marvel. I'm not surprised because I heard she was the front runner. And man, I really wanted Emily Blunt for Captain Marvel. But, I think she's an Oscar winner, isn't she? Brie Larson is. So, I mean, Marvel hasn't fucked up on a casting choice yet. So, they've earned our trust. We know that they know what they're doing. So if they think Brie Larson is going to be a great Captain Marvel, okay. I had my heart set on someone else, but I'm open to being proven wrong. But yeah, I'm glad there's some progress being made on Captain Marvel. We're not going to see the movie for a couple of years, but at least something's happening there. I was hoping for Margot Robbie, but after she was cast as Harley Quinn, it wasn't going to happen. Why not? There's no law that says you can't be a DC hero and a Marvel hero in movies. The schedules, there were no scheduling conflicts. Plus, Margot Robbie wouldn't have been right for Captain Marvel anyway. She's a good actress and absolutely fucking gorgeous, but I don't look at her and see, a military officer. She doesn't have that look. I think Brie Larson can fit that look a little easier. Helms Dynasty versus the Wolves could be a new Guns versus Jen Me. Would you like to see Helms back in the ring? Not really. No real desire to see Shane Helms back in the ring. I was a fan of his back in the day, but not really. I don't think there's any real need for him to get back in the ring right now. Been so out of the loop of YouTube, why are you on a new channel? I'm on my backup channel because my primary channel was suspended for bullshit reasons. YouTube sent me an email saying that I had violated community guidelines, which is ridiculous. So I got in touch with Google to say that my account had been suspended because of a mistake. My account was then reinstated, but the strike against it is still there. So for some reason, so I can use the primary account, I just can't stream from it until that gets resolved. And I'm trying to get it resolved, but for right now, it seems that I have to wait like 6 months for the strike to be taken off. And I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but I've got to fiddle with it. So for the time being, we're going to be streaming from my backup channel. And I'm not happy about it, but that's the way it is. Justice League's tone seemed more like an X-Men tone of serious with some humor, only the jokes in the Justice League trailer were cheesier. Dude, I'm just glad there were some jokes in general. Because those DC movies need a little bit of levity. I was thinking fighting champion for both shows, but what does it mean for the Raw or SmackDown #1 contenders when it comes to the pay-per-view? Well, the #1 contenders would fight the champion. I don't think it would mean anything for them. The champion, like I said, I'd have the champions traverse both shows. You could fight one. They could be feuding with one person on Raw or one person on SmackDown. They could be feuding with multiple people. It actually lends itself to a lot of possibilities. I mean, you couldn't be feuding with the same person on both shows, but with enough creativity, you could get around that. Thoughts on Brock getting busted for a second time for anti-estrogen pills? Anti-estrogen pills? That's what he was taking? Dude, if anyone doesn't need anti-estrogen pills, it's fucking Brock Lesnar. Ugh. That's disappointing. I keep wanting to think that there was some... I don't know, there was some excuse for what happened, but oh man. Brock was really taking something. That's so disappointing. Because why the hell would he need to take anything? This guy's more powerful than just about anybody. Thoughts on the viewership being up despite the move to Thursdays? It's very encouraging. I did not expect that, but I was afraid that they were going to have to rebuild. They're going to have to take another hit in viewership and then rebuild their audience again, and it looks like they won't. And that's great news. According to PW Insider, it's going to be Bayley as Sasha's partner. Okay, good. Did you hear about Angelina Love coming back? Haven't heard anything about that. As far as I know, there's been no movement on that, so... Thoughts on Taylor Hendricks wanting to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That would be awesome, actually. She's great at playing a bad guy. I could see her as a villain. That'd be cool. Okay. What webcam do you use to stream? Just the one on my computer. And I've got an Apple, so... Yeah. Thoughts on Kalisto's botched promo saying good lucha things and didn't see it. Backstage thoughts on Sin Cara's backstage fight against Simon Gotch. Don't really have any. I heard the fight happened. I don't know what it was about. So they might get suspended, and which is fine. And you can't put up with that kind of behavior. It's not like either of them are really doing anything, so it won't really matter. The only entertaining the Motor City Machine Guns have done is when Sabin called the addiction and a bad influence in a promo. That's about it. Damn. It's like, why would you take a team that has so much personality, is so entertaining, is so witty and charismatic, and not let them be witty and charismatic? Why would you want to just suck all the personality out of them? Why, God damn it, ROH. Why would you want to do something like that? Do you want to suck away their marketability? Damn. Thoughts on Finn Balor being number 5, Roman Reigns being number 6, Charlotte being number 3. You know, the order of those picks doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. You know, if Finn Balor is number 5, shouldn't he have been on the roster already? You know? Reigns being number 6 probably shows that his stock has fallen after the wellness policy violation. Charlotte being number 3, I think they're overestimating Charlotte a little bit. Fuck. Thoughts on what Becky said about the Divas Revolution? I don't know what she said. Didn't see that. Okay. What other female characters DC can produce and make a lot of money? I'd love to see Zoe Saldana as Hawkgirl. Renee Montoya is the question. I think would make a cool movie. They could do like a film noir type of thing with her. I understand there's a new female Green Lantern, but they probably want one of the more recognizable names like Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan or Kyle Rayner or something. I'm not too familiar with DC. I don't know. It's a good question. On Raw, Owens building a feud with Ambrose as champion while AJ is building a feud with Ambrose. But the feud will have to change when Ambrose loses the title. I think they may have... Owens is feuding with Ambrose? Is he? I don't know. I've dozed off during a lot of Raws recently. Maybe I missed something. It's rumored that DC and Marvel sign their talent to exclusive contracts where they can't work for any other company. That's why Jamie Alexander wasn't cast as Wonder Woman. Well, is that confirmed or is it just a rumor? If so, it's kind of dumb. Is there anybody else besides Gail that you see winning the Knockouts title? Honestly, no. I mean, they got the stipulation that if anyone beats her on this road to the title story that she's on now, then she can never get another title shot. And if that's the result if she loses, then I don't see Gail losing. Because it often seems like the TNA writers have absolutely no fucking clue what to do with the Knockouts unless Gail is the champion or feuding with the champion. So if she can't do either of those things anymore, that's kind of like their big go-to angle in the Knockouts that they can't use. So I guess it's possible, but no, I really don't see anyone else winning the title. I think they're just going to push Gail to the moon and have her win the title back. Of course, the irony is that she'll be the champion and she'll have squashed the entire division, so she'll have no one to feud with then after that. Favorite guilty pleasure wrestling theme song? 3MB. Ugh. Roman Reigns' stock is falling, but probably he will still be in the main event feuds due to lack of depth in the roster. Yeah. He'll almost certainly benefit from the rosters being split up. How insufferable will the Flash be this season with Barry Allen continuing to be a moron? Incredibly insufferable. Honestly, I'm this close to dropping that show at this point. Because Barry is just fucking pissing me off. Let's see. It was an example of why the champion on both shows might not work, as the build would affect one show when the champion loses the title to another show's contender. Well, he doesn't have to be feuding with one person on Raw when he's feuding with another person on SmackDown. You know, it could, but it doesn't have to. Becky said, I think sometimes women were depicted as catty during the Divas Revolution. Oh, well, she's certainly right about that. Yeah, she's absolutely fucking right about that. A lot of times it felt like that was the only personality trait any of the divas have. Let's see. I think I changed that. I think sometimes the storyline is as simple as we're just going to be the best and we're going for the championships and we all don't secretly hate each other consistently. Yeah. Halle Berry worked for both DC as Catwoman and Storm for Fox as X-Men. Well, that was before DC was trying to start their own shared universe, so it might be different now. I think that's one thing I'd like more time. I'd like there to be consistently more women's storylines going on at the same time. So would I. Is Battleground tonight? Yeah, apparently. Will Rosemary wrestle? Well, she has wrestled. Not much, but she can, and I hope she will. I hope she'll be wrestling more soon. Alright, get your final questions and comments in now. I'm going to put the cutoff point in a minute, because I got to get going. I got stuff to do, plus I want to see Star Trek Beyond tonight. In NXT, it wasn't this big freaking Divas Revolution, if you want to call it that. It was guerrilla warfare. Well, yeah, because the Divas Revolution is bullshit. It always was. It was a marketing gimmick. That's how we got to where we are now. It's not throwing us in there in a bunch of random tag team matches and being like, hey, there's these girls, we're doing things with them. It's just we need equal opportunities. Yeah, we can wrestle like the lads. We can do things that the lads do. It just doesn't have to be a big deal. Let us do our thing. Don't make a big deal of it. Yeah. You just illustrated in large part why the Divas Revolution was bullshit right there. Well done. Will you be watching all 4 of the CW shows for the 4-night crossover? Oh, God. I'm not going to say definitively, but right now, I don't think so. Because, I mean, the Supergirl just really isn't my thing, and Legends of Tomorrow is fucking terrible. And I'm very frustrated with The Flash right now, too. So, will I be watching all 4 of them? Maybe, but I doubt it. I don't think fans will be cheering for Gail if she wins the Knockouts title at Bound for Glory, and getting booed is the last thing she needs. Oh, I disagree. I think if she gets booed, maybe she'll get the picture. Maybe management will get the picture that they need to ease off on her push and give the other girls a chance. Over or under? 6 months until both Raw and SmackDown start to switch wrestlers, making the draft lottery even more pointless than it already is now. Oh, I think it'll be less than 6 months, dude. No, they'll start backtracking on this thing pretty quickly, just like they did before. You should sue Matt Hardy. Him trying to eat the camera is a ripoff of your old intro. Oh yeah, like way back, like back in the day when I first started, I ended a video with me eating the camera. That was one of my first videos, actually. Thoughts on Velvet Sky being a Trump supporter? Wow, I'm not surprised and I don't care. Because I really don't care what Velvet does as long as she's not doing it on my TV screen. Gail, if she wins the title, will have a year-long feud with Raquel as the next star of the division. Ugh. Jeez, I hope not. Yoink. You know. What's going on with Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy? I haven't watched Impact in a while. What's going on is that they started feuding again. Jeff won the first match, and then he won the second match, and then he won the third match, and then Matt won the match where the rights to the Hardy brand and the Hardy name were on the line, and now that apparently means that he owns Jeff. So Jeff is going to be like his servant because they're doing that whole thing again. Even though they already did that with Jeff not that long ago, they're doing it again, and then they'll probably have another match at Bound for Glory. Even though the feud has gone on way too long, and I just don't find it interesting at all anymore. Although, you should hunt down the Final Deletion match and watch that, because that was actually really cool. Could Women of Honor be a bigger than the Knockouts if ROH put in legit investment into it? Well, it doesn't look like ROH are interested in making an investment in it. Would it be bigger than Knockouts? I don't know. Depends on the talent. They do have some good talent. Veda Scott is very entertaining. Kelly Klein has a lot of potential. I like Crazy Mary Dobson a lot. Do they even have a set roster of women? It seemed like girls kind of come and go. There was one girl, what's it, Jessica James, who kind of shows up randomly. There's Mandy Leone, who I'm not really big on. She might have potential, but she seems really green still. I'll give them credit in that most of them seem to have personalities. Well, Veda, Mary, Kelly do at least. Oh, and Taylor Hendricks does. But I think that's more of a testament to their talent and not anything that ROH is doing with them right now. Because I'm positive that any personality they might have is something they came up with themselves. Because ROH seems to downplay the personalities of their performers, which is insane. Would it be bigger than the Knockouts? I tend to think no. I think it could be in competition with the Knockouts if they put the time and effort into it, but I don't think they will. It's also the booking of Gail as well. They don't want her to look weak ever, so what happens when they make the newer talent look weak or look lucky to get a win over Gail? What happens is that the newer talent looks weak, and they don't get made into stars, and they don't look legitimate because Gail is so ensconced at the top spot and no one can knock her off, so no one really gets over on her. Even when somebody does beat Gail, the win is quickly invalidated and meant to look like it means nothing, so they don't benefit from it. And when Gail beats the other girls, those losses tend to be incredibly damaging because they end up cutting off their momentum or other stuff to that effect. Reference Sienna. Sienna's pinned Gail twice, and has she really benefited from those wins? No, because they weren't presented in a way that really put Sienna over. she only beat Gail due to interference when Gail was closing in on a victory. And, well, I'm not going to say any spoilers here, but spoiler alert, it looks like they're going to be cutting off Sienna's momentum even more in an upcoming episode of Impact. Thanks to Gail Kim. No spoilers, but you can fill in the blanks yourselves. Oh boy. Unlucky. Trades are needed. So yeah, Cesaro and Owens going to SmackDown and Kalisto and Orton going to Raw. I'm saying Cesaro should be on SmackDown. If that's going to be the more wrestling-oriented show, it doesn't make sense for him to be on Raw. Cesaro should be on SmackDown. Not to sound like a psycho fan, but your laugh is my ringtone. Cool. I find that very funny. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. 40 FK versus Broken Matt Hardy. Who would win? I suspect Fourth Dimension Fool Killer would walk all over Matt. Now, Matt's not in his right mind these days. The Young Bucks still have personality in ROH. Okay. But again, I'd say that's a testament to the Young Bucks and not anything that ROH is doing. I guess you were right about Vanguard 1. Can't wait to see him interfere in Matt's matches. I want to see that. And I want to see, like I said, I want to see Matt cutting promos through Vanguard 1. Because I think it would be fucking funny. Did you see Cesaro's thoughts on being traded to Raw? Yeah, it sounded like he was pissed off about it and was trying to downplay how upset he was and trying to find a way to say that wouldn't piss off his bosses and not really succeeding. Because it basically sounded like, yeah, he'd much rather be on SmackDown. And he says, oh, well, but I'm on the flagship, so okay, that's good. That's where Cesaro belongs, even though I thought it was a better fit for SmackDown and stuff. Yeah, he did not sound happy, and I don't blame him, because he should be on SmackDown, really. It's a much better fit for Cesaro. And Senor Benjamin should appear in his matches, too. Yeah. Well, Senor Benjamin did get incredibly over after the final deletion. And that is going to do it. Like I said, I've got some other stuff I need to do today, so we're going to call it quits there. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. We should be back on Saturday next week, unless I have to work. And I don't always get a lot of notice before I have to work on weekends. But if I do, watch my Twitter. I always put an update on that, so if we have to move it to Sunday again, I'll send out a tweet about that. But if I don't have to work, I'll see you on Saturday or Sunday, wherever. I'll still be here at some point on the weekend, live streaming the review, and we should have some more trailers and stuff to talk about then as well. So I will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time. Peace out.